ultimate show about sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling. Learn the ins and the outs of the storylines, the talent on each platform. Let me tell you something, brother. Airs every second fourth Tuesday of each month, right here, 7:15 p.m. Central. And our good friends over at the Santos Agency Health Markets right here at Green Street. It is their prime time. This is Tom's first solo match without the tag team partner. How are you, brother?
That's not my first solo match.
Well, no,
we had a month where like he was here, I wasn't here,
right?
Vice versa. So,
but this is the first of many. Perhaps.
First,
hey, if you're out there and you just want to be part of, let me tell you something, brother. Just walk in, the door's open. But if you're going to bring it,
actually is open right now,
yeah.
Except for the reject rundowns. But just bring it.
Just bring it. That's it. Hey, man, good week, good couple weeks.
It's been entertaining. It's almost back to Attitude Era.
What do you bring? Yeah.
It is exciting now. You had Papa H, Triple H now in charge for the last 2-3 months, and you have a lot of returns, a lot of old returns, and it is something that's gonna keep the momentum going right now. I'm very curious. And can't wait to tune in the next episode. Now Raw, and then you got Dynamite tomorrow night. You got SmackDown on Friday night. It's all right. We're starting to get the competition. What are they going to do next to top what the other company promotion did? Yeah. So, it's close to Monday Night Wars, not quite. I know my partner would say otherwise, but
it was awesome. It has been electrifying. It's made you want to tune in.
Right?
And go, whoa.
Like last night at the shop, I'm at it's 6:30. I gotta get home. I gotta catch the season opener Raw. I don't want to miss this, especially with the end of Extreme Rules on Saturday night. It's we not really the worst kept secret, but you kept wanting it, and finally it happened. Yep. And we'll touch on that just in a moment.
Yeah, and in just a moment, right? So a lot of good stuff going on the WWE side, and AEW is starting to throw some things in there.
So what I'm seeing what AEW is doing now, and Tim's not here to stop the AEW talk, unfortunately for him, but great for us, Kent. Where now they realize now with Punk out of the picture, Omega out of the picture, the Young Bucks kind of out of the picture, they got to go back to what brought them success.
Yeah. And
that's the wrestling and the storytelling with that, the live action. So what they did is the rumor mill was, Saraya, she's back in wrestling, but she isn't medically cleared. Well, last Wednesday they said, nope, she can wrestle now, and she got into a brawl with Britt Baker, who is probably the best one for her to get involved with right now, to keep her safe, especially her neck and what she's going through. Other than that, with the roster, maybe Madison Rayne can keep her safe. Unfortunately, I will agree with Tim, where they don't have that many women right now where I would feel comfortable with Saraya.
Yeah.
In other words, for people who don't know who Saraya is, Paige, who is out with, had to retire at a young age with a neck issue.
Yeah.
And so then WWE had their response with White Rabbit scanning the QR codes for the last, month or so? I think it's been. And
the QR,
And you'll see hey, we got to go and check it out. And what's it mean? What's the story behind it? And each QR code would happen for the next live event that they were going to be at. Right. And then you tune in at 9:23, what's going to happen? Well, for us, 9:23 was commercial break, but the live audience at the stadium,
as they say, live dark, right?
live dark, yeah, they got the special treat of what's going on, and this may be the way to start getting more and more people to going to house shows and the live events.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they're getting something special that they can see that I have to wait and see now, but I want to live in that moment.
And it's good.
That's good. And they still had an QR code last night on Raw, even with the reveal of Bray Wyatt. It was The Miz was walking away, I believe, and there was a QR code on guy's sweatshirt and catering or whatever it was. And
that is it. On the AEW side, Jim Ross. Jim Ross thinking of retiring, he says, maybe. But also, maybe taking over as creative director for the AEW.
And I think that would be best for Ross. I mean,
on the
creative side. I mean, he's always been good with the talent relations, spotting talent, eyeballing that, and knowing who is going to be a star and who wasn't.
Yeah. So the good news is he's healthy. He had a little bit of a scare with some skin cancer.
Yeah.
We all kind of know that, but he's healthy. You know.
We said before too with him, it's like have him be like one of the executive vice presidents instead of the Young Bucks,
right?
Instead of Kenny Omega. He have him, Jericho, and possibly even William Regal. Guys that have been in the system forever and know the business in and out and how to run it, and have great relationship as well as seeing the prospects.
Right, and a lot of the interview that I saw or listened to. I guess I didn't see it. Right, I listened to was Grill and JR. That's his little podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Did you order his barbecue sauce?
I didn't know. But they keep poking and what hey, they trying to. I don't know if they're trying to create a reality that's not there. They're trying to say, hey, what about going back to WWE or whatever? And he's just like, listen, I'm happy with the ball. I'm happy where I'm at. No, if I didn't have a job and I wanted to stay in the business, maybe there'd be different. And he's like, Vince is a good friend of mine. We're not trying to boycott each other. It's just life's busy and we haven't had time to connect. But he's not looking. He said he's pretty happy.
And it's business.
Yeah, it's business, right?
When it comes down to it, it's business for them, and they got to do what's best for them and their families. Yeah. And right now, when you have multiple companies out there now fighting for talent, and Tony Khan with the big pocketbook, deep wallet, and deep wallet, which Y2J will go and say, my boss has more money than your boss, so he will outspend. But I think what hurt them was not getting Bray Wyatt. I think that would have been a game changer for them. It hurt them more than WWE. But I will, yes.
I'm sure it's in your notes.
It's in my notes. You'll be proud, Timmy. Timothy. I actually prepared those. I have notes today for you.
That's right.
I may have rolled them up like 5 minutes before the show, but
you got them.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
That's a great quote from The Rock.
It doesn't matter.
And when you look at it, most things, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. No, I should really unmute my microphone. What an idiot. Do you think it's the first time I'm producing a show?
You are.
So they've been listening. They're like, where's he at? The guy.
Who's he talking
to? Is
to?
in the ceiling? What's happening?
The voice of God.
Right. Oh, I'm not that.
That's tomorrow at noon.
That's tomorrow at noon.
12:30, I'm sorry.
And I think they're going to lead with the question you said.
Oh, they are? Wow.
Yeah.
I got to make sure I chime in at that time.
Because it was, well, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it later. We'll give them a free plug.
That's right.
I feel like it.
Bill him. So what's next on the list? What do you got?
The list of Tomas. I will call it the list of Tomas. All right. So last night was the season premiere of Raw.
Yes.
It's been since '93? I want to say when they first started running.
The longest weekly show or something.
Longest weekly cable episodic show.
Yes.
And it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, it opened up with the DX 25th anniversary reunion, where they go and show Hunter in the gorilla position, or pretty much the man in charge position for those that don't know the term. And he's like, guys, you can't say blah, blah, blah. And each thing's getting bleeped out. And Shawn Michaels is like, well, can I say this? Can I do this? And so they were going back to like their old previous route DX antics. And like their big joke was the 4 cocks on behind the TV screen. It was
Right.
like, well, can we say cock? And they pan out and zoom out, and there's the 4 rubber chickens right on the TV screen. And
you can hear it 21-6 in that, absolutely.
so, and then they start out with I'm starting to notice Hunter's formula, like he likes to do now. He's getting more of he'll start with the promos like they always did, where it's like 15-20 minute promo of their top star.
Yeah.
In this case was Roman Reigns. And then they'll have a lengthy match.
Yeah.
With Gargano and Austin Theory. Well, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
And then he's starting to bring back surprises here and there. So the next big surprise, or the first one that came out, was with a Ray against Chad Gable in that match. And at the end of the match, the Judgment Day came out and attacked Ray with his son, Dominic. And then AJ Styles came out kind of to the rescue.
Yeah.
And they kind of show like, oh, is he going to join Finn or not? And then not with the original OC or the club.
Right.
Gallows and crap, forgot his other name. Came out and joined forces because they had history with AJ and Finn both back in New Japan with the Bullet Club. So there was like a couple free agent signings there that returned. And hopefully this time they'll do the gimmick right. It looked like they were going to do it right a few years ago. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, and the next big surprise that came out was Bobby Lashley was out. Start listing names of guys who he beat. One of the guys he listed was Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes out, who's been gone since I want to say SummerSlam.
Yeah, since SummerSlam.
Since SummerSlam, since the whole tractor lifting the ring.
Yep.
Came out, whooped Bobby to set up their match for the upcoming pay-per-view Crown Jewel beginning in November.
Yes.
That's pretty much what that was for. And then with him weakening Bobby Lashley, his match against Seth Rollins, continued to wrestle in that. Seth Rollins then defeated Bobby to then win his second Grand Slam championship.
Which is good. Seth has been playing.
To be the second two-time winner.
Right. So
next to Nega Timothy's favorite guy.
Right. So but that's good. I mean, Seth needed that. He's
like 800 and something days without having a belt on him, and he's been pretty much carrying the company or carrying Raw.
Yeah.
For the most part. What is the noise out there?
They're drag racing.
Drag racing tonight. Yeah. Sparkplug Collie.
And that was with, I mean, he's got injured ribs too.
Yep.
Seth does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he looked pretty good again.
Yeah, you saw it from his match with Riddle on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Which I'll say, let's go into that. So Saturday was Extreme Rules. WWE's pay-per-view on Peacock. First match was the best match. Sheamus against Gunther Sheamus's guys against Gunther's guys.
So are they building Sheamus up? He's had a couple of good matches lately.
Sheamus is a Triple H guy. He was his workout buddy for so many years. So I think, and the title he's missing is the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. So he's paid his dues. So Triple H is like, all right, your time is now.
Right.
Yeah.
Do.
And he does. He performs well.
He does. And like the last few matches they've had against each other. I mean, you have heel against heel.
Right.
They've been entertaining.
Yeah.
And after that match, it was kind of like the pay-per-view felt so-so. I think the next best match was probably Bianca and Bayley, the women's ladder match. I mean, Bianca, I think she's going to be the next best. The GOAT.
Yeah.
She has the athletic ability. She has the charisma. She has the likability too, on top of it all.
Skills.
Her mic skills from a year ago, so much better.
Yep.
Just so damn likable. They're saying like she's doing what they wanted Charlotte Flair to do.
Yeah.
Doing the commercials now, and I mean, she has the it factor. Last year, she may have been rushed too soon to get the championship. Now, perfect.
Now looking good. Yep.
Always looking good.
Yeah. And it was. I mean, it was the extreme. The Extreme Rules is always very, very fun.
Right.
Very, very fun. And that goes. I mean,
I think this is the first year they did it where every match had an Extreme clause in it, because a lot of times it'll just be one or two.
Yeah.
And this year it was like, oh wow, they're actually doing every single one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I wish they would do it as Halloween Havoc.
Oh,
change Extreme Rules in October to Halloween Havoc. I know they do it for NXT, But if they did that in place, you get the spinning wheel. I mean, then you have some of these more bizarre matches that fit it and make it more fun. And that would have been perfect for what happened at the end of the night with Bray returning. So the main event then on Saturday night was Riddle versus Rollins with Cormier as the special guest referee that absolutely did nothing.
No,
just kind of seemed like he was a little out of shape, and they're trying to make something happen, and it just wasn't working. And to me, that match, I thought the Clash at the Castle was so much better and entertaining than this one. And Riddle made Seth tap out.
Yeah.
At the end, it looked like he slipped off the platform.
Yeah.
Like lost his footing to that one spot, and that was kind of the bloop. Bloop, yep. Bloop. A little punk. And and the show was acting like they were going to close out, then all of a sudden the lights go out and everyone just went ballistic and lost it.
That was cool.
That was cool.
That was cool. And the different spotlights.
All of a sudden, it's dark. Everyone gets their camera phone out, get the lights going and the fireflies, and then
you knew it was. I mean, it's like when you knew it was coming,
right?
Like you said, it wasn't the best kept secret, but it's still.
They had it on the poster.
It's like when you hear it's when you hear the shattering glass. When you know what I mean? It's just like it was cool.
Like when you look and you see like the poster has the lantern and the fireflies and all the vignettes, and then everything that happened with the QR codes, and
then they kick in the big old door. The light comes out.
It's like he comes out and you got the whole world in his hands. He's singing.
Yeah.
And then it shows his Funhouse characters pretty much coming to life. So the White Six is what they're going to be called.
World. It was very eerie, the whole world in his hands.
So now they're saying that Bo Dallas may be one of those guys, his brother in real life, making his return. I wouldn't mind someone else playing the Fiend. But and maybe Bo can do that since he's got similar looks and style as Bray. It would definitely help Bo out.
Yep.
You don't have to hear Bo talk.
Yeah. What's the take? Rousey's back with the belt. I mean, is she that big of a pull?
Fox wants her to be champ. Yeah. Liv's not really giving them the ratings. That match went on way too long.
Yeah.
Again, it's like they got to go back to where Rousey is like the Goldberg.
Right.
Just go in.
That suits her better.
The longer she's in a match, it's not good.
Yeah,
she wants to be the baddest woman on planet. She's got to just go squash them.
Jackhammer somebody, walk out.
Especially against Liv.
Yeah.
I mean, she's working her butt off, but she is not that level.
Yeah. Just come in like she used to in the UFC before she got punched in the face.
Right.
Just come in and beat some shit up in a couple of minutes. Done.
Tap out. Tap or snap.
And bing, bang, boom.
Get them out of there.
Yep. And I think that builds. I think that builds to her too, though. I think that's the way to go. Oh man, we've got
phone call.
First time caller, long time listener. That's it. But she's still. I mean, what made her brilliant in the UFC was she was a bully. She was big. She was bad, but she didn't have to talk.
Right.
Her acting skills have not gone.
No, and she's been in movies.
I know. And I just can't buy into it. You know what I mean? It's like she's trying too hard or something.
I think
it's not natural.
And I think she's been wanting to do the heel role for a while.
Yeah.
But again,
and when it's working for Roman, but I mean,
I know there's been talk about possibly having Heyman eventually team up with her.
Yeah, they got to do something.
And that's where I thought, like, ideally was going to have Paige come back to lead that stable with her, Baszler, and probably even I forgot her name. That's show business. That's what's like being live on air, and
right. That's what it is. Like here at this show.
It'll come on. It'll come back to me in just a minute.
Absolutely. It's there's so much good stuff. There's so much fresh, and I say fresh, but at the same time, Triple H has done a great job just weaving in that Attitude Era, like you said at the top of the show,
right?
But with the new, and now you're like, I gotta catch it.
And what was funny is at the very end when DX closed out, for me, it was the one I sent you the picture this morning. Like, when did they start spelling out degeneration?
Right.
It's always been like D dash Generation X or whatever it was.
Gen X, yeah.
I'm like, what is this? Generation Z? It's just like,
Right.
no idea. The new tech.
D-generation, yeah.
No, it's Degeneration X.
Just D.
But it's like what they were doing is, I mean, yeah, of course, Triple H can't have any physical contact.
Right.
And you could tell that what would happen if Vince was still there, someone would have interrupted.
Yeah.
Someone would have squashed them or just ruined the moment, because that's just what Vince does. He never lets anyone have that special moment or whatever. So
especially DX.
Yeah. But now it's like, it's kind of funny because they always joked about how they're going to run the show.
Yeah.
They're going to
Here
run,
they are.
and here they are.
And I mean, last night on the finale, what they roll in with the cannon,
Right.
I was like, all right, that's all right.
I think they should have rolled in with a senior bus.
That'd have been funny. The pace bus.
The pace bus.
Would have been fun.
But they did like a reference because Badass Billy Gunn was unable to attend with being under contract with AEW.
Yeah.
So they did some references or let the crowd chant his name or say his name. And Corey Graves says, he's doing something with office supplies right now. The reference is the Scissor Me Daddy-O, what he likes to do.
That's right. That's it. So it's brilliant. And now you're hungry for more. Of course, they bring Brock back, as you said.
Brock back for Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
Cowboy Brock, but now it seems like he's a heel. What he was doing with Bobby just didn't feel like.
No, right.
It's like you're excited that he's back, and then he's going against one of your top faces.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Again, are they bringing back factions? You know what I'm saying? Are they trying to build some factions here?
The factions that was part of the best era.
Right. To really just, get that good versus and get that, good, because it isn't always about the heel, because you would fall in love with the heel side.
Right.
Right. And
it's cool to be bad, like the NWO, DX.
Yeah.
Our parents said, no, don't do that. And they're crotch chopping everyone. And that's what you just want to do to everyone. It's like, you don't like it? I got 2 words for you.
That's right.
And you get
2
detention.
Cheers and a bucket. That's it. Over at Ollie's, a new store in Crystal Lake, they do have some WWE action figures.
Oh, they do.
A bit bigger, yeah. I almost bought a few for you.
Oh.
I almost did. Then I got the stink eye, so I was like, all right.
So that's like my favorite thing to do. You saw it the other day when we were at Walmart. I always go down to Toy Aisle and go see what wrestling figures they have. And that was one of the clues for the Bray Wyatt thing, where they have a Bray Wyatt Mad Hatter action figure.
Mad Hatter, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it was that if you haven't seen it, folks, Google that or YouTube it, go to WWE News, and you can see that, his entrance. That video is cool. It was done well. It was done really well. But the bad thing is the only part I didn't like about it is when they were at the announcers table and there's the head there. Yeah. And they get up like, whoa! I was like, oh,
it's like, Michael Cole, you probably put that.
Right. I know. Pulled it out from underneath. Yeah, exactly. I was like, you can't sell me on that. But it is the dramatics, which is good. So.
Well, I was kind of disappointed because they were showing these pre-photos of all these people dressed in white rabbits and walking around the stadium or whatever. It's like, there's nothing else.
No.
They never got into it. They never even got into the actual white rabbit.
Nope. And then they just brought out the ugly masks, the murdering looking scary.
The scary funhouse creatures come to life.
The mouth that went all the way up. I was like,
but you know who is missing? The boss.
The boss.
Which was the Vince McMahon puppet.
Oh, you're right. I had forgotten about that. Oh, you're right.
They didn't show that one at all.
No, that didn't even make it. Interesting. Yeah.
But the other rumors are it's Eric Rowan.
Okay.
Is going to re-sign if he hasn't already and rejoin Wyatt as the Wyatt Six.
The Wyatt Six.
What character? I don't know. Alexa Bliss is another rumor of returning.
But still, there comes a faction back, right?
Or even Liv. They're even saying Liv may be part of it too.
Well, does that play well, though?
Liv's got to be with someone.
Yeah, she really does.
I mean, I thought for certain her and Alexa tag team champs. Perfect.
But does that play well with the Wyatt Six?
Well, now it doesn't. Well, it could. I mean, if you get both of them, the darkness.
Maybe.
They both got that crazy hotness to them.
Yeah.
The Harley Quinn.
The Harley Quinn.
That's what they should be called. Is the Harley Quinns.
That's it. Yeah, it's just a lot of great stuff. And I just, it's just to me, if you take a look at the top 10 moments of Raw,
Right.
What do you take away from the top 10 moments?
Oh,
I'm getting a call now.
You're getting a call now.
What is going on? Easy. All right. Yeah. What do you go? What's the top 10 moments
From last night?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta do 10.
I don't know. I just said 10.
Oh, for me, it was the opening with DX.
Yeah.
And then I'd say the opening segment with Roman coming out.
Now,
and kind of distant.
I'm watching that opening, and of course, growing up, loving DX. They're all about my age when I say growing up. But I'm like, God, they're old. Oh God, I'm old.
Road dog.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's like the honorary Uso for Sami Zayn. Those chants going on.
Yeah.
His match was entertaining, where Jimmy couldn't interfere.
Yeah. I did like, I like the ring wrap.
Yep.
Yeah,
but then now they got that digital board. As the guardrail.
Yeah, which is cool.
That was a different camera take because now you don't even see the front row people anymore.
Right. Which you were like, okay. And I was okay with that.
They got rid of that annoying guy that stands up and turns around and says hi every 2 minutes.
All right, everybody calm down. Yeah. Then the Miz, the more I watch him, the more I like him.
Really?
Yeah.
Because for me, it was the Dexter Loomis thing has now run its course.
Yeah.
Finally, they're going to have the match next week where if Dexter wins, he gets a contract.
Yeah.
And can continue harassing the Miz. If he doesn't win, then he doesn't get signed.
Huh. Okay.
But
But
Maurice had a nip slip last night.
Oh, I didn't see it.
So some sites they have the photos.
Oh.
So if you're a fan of Maurice and want to see,
there you go.
There you go.
A little, as they say, a wardrobe malfunction.
Maybe.
Was
it after 9? I don't remember.
I don't know. That's right. Maybe. It's hard saying. Well, I didn't catch that.
I did notice too last night they were swearing a little bit more, but it was getting bleeped out or
That's good for the crowd,
right?
And again, are you trying to get people back in and sell tickets and merch?
Because that was a big thing on Extreme Rules was when Wyatt came back, the whole crowd's chanting "Holy shit, holy shit!"
Yeah.
They don't edit it out on Peacock,
right?
But then last night on Raw, they started airing it. They got the first one in, and they're like, "Oh crap!" So then they went to the delay and dump button, and that was kind of an really.
That's my dump button. I love it. Now listen, you're tuned in to 216net. This is, let me tell you something, brother, the most electrifying show on 216net. If you love the World Wrestling Federation, if you love AEW, if you love sports entertainment, and you want to be part of the show, just reach out to us. Come in. We would love to. Hey, for the next couple of months, we're going to be bringing in some guests. We're going to be bringing in some other people to hang out with Tom.
Tonight I'd like to welcome our guest, John Cena.
John Cena is right here. John,
right over here.
Welcome. Hey, applause.
Unfortunately, his mic isn't working today.
Yeah. We didn't pay enough for having him talk. But you do got some nice guys there. You got Hulk and Brett.
Hulk. I got Brett. Brett. He's actually going to be at Homer Glen this Friday night.
You going?
I don't believe I can. My son's got a home football game. I'll likely be going to.
Yeah, I can't get to it either. I got to work.
Then I think the next closest one is Waukesha on the night of our trunk or treat event.
Oh, you're trunk or treating with Don Bremer?
Yes, with lovely Miss Dawn.
Yeah. I'm not. Maybe I'll go up to Waukesha. Maybe I'll go check it out.
Slip him a card.
I'm still waiting for Tom's Productions to create a press
Oh,
pass.
press pass. Usually they make them for you.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
oh,
It'd just be great to have.
let's see what we can get.
That's,
What we could walk through. Hey, we got a 216 in that press pass.
we're important.
Credential.
We're
Yeah.
important. All access you got to put on it somewhere.
Yeah.
All access. Press pass. That way you can get in everywhere, which is great. If you got something on your mind out there, go ahead. Feel free to shoot a comment in there or whatnot. So what's next on your list?
Let's see. On the list we got right now, tomorrow night is AEW's first time in Toronto, Canada. A very hot bed for wrestling.
Fozzy,
Chris Jericho going one-on-one against the Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
In match 3 since going against each other in AEW.
Now, it's a big deal for him, right?
Jericho right now, he's defending the Ring of Honor Championship,
Yep.
and his goal right now is to beat the previous Ring of Honor champions and act like he's going to just erase their legacy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, it's going to be another classic match. He's going to try to get Daniel Garcia to join forces with the Blackpool Combat Club and show that wrestlers can beat the sports entertainers, as Jericho likes to say it.
Yeah. So,
and for those wondering and watching, that's what my hair is right now. It's to honor and appreciate Y2J.
Y2J.
The Jericho Appreciation Society.
There you go. Now, this is his first Canadian appearance with AEW, right?
This is their first AEW appearance in Canada.
Right. So this is a big deal because he's Canadian, eh?
Right. Hey, yeah. Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Yeah. So do you think he's? Do you think? I mean, is he? Is he the showstopper? I mean, is he the? You know what I'm saying? In this deal tomorrow night, is he the guy that brings it all home, or is he like Jericho does on these big events, get pinned?
A lot of Canadians do not like losing at home.
Right. Yep.
And Jericho is one of those guys where it's kind of hard to predict what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Because there's times where, okay, he's going to put over the younger talent that need it. And there's other times like, oh, no, he's got to develop his character more to make it look more like a legacy kind of thing.
Yeah. So I was doing some reading on it, because I'm like, oh, it kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, oh. Because when I read the headline first, I was like, wait, he's wrestled in Canada because it was like Jericho's first Canadian.
Yeah.
Because I didn't AE Canadian. And he says, you know what? I'm facing Bryan Danielson, who's one of the most popular wrestlers in the world right now. But it's Chris Jericho in Canada for the first time with AEW. I expect a monstrous reaction for both of us. As long as they're making noise, it's all I care about. But if you had to ask me, gun to head, I think I'm probably going to be pretty popular in Canada, even though Toronto is thousands of kilometers away from Winnipeg.
Yeah. Yeah. For Canada, it doesn't matter what territory you're from. They're always going to cheer you and boo the other guy.
Right. You got it. So I think that'll be a good match, though. One worth watching, tuning into to see how it goes.
And maybe Nega Timothy would tune in.
Maybe good old Nega Timothy will turn in.
And bring him back to watching more AEW to see what they do.
Yeah. Jericho, I don't know. I've let my feelings be known about Jericho, but it'll be interesting to see the reaction. Yeah, I'm trying to go back. Did he always get a big reaction in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Canada, WWE. Ever since he signed over to WWE, it's been wherever he goes. People love him. And he could be a bad guy, a good guy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'll be. I think that'll be. I think that'll be interesting to see what happens. But he's looking forward to it, which is good.
And some other good talented AEW guys where I think they are the future of the business. MJF, top of the list.
Yeah.
He's the young, 24 years old, whatever, just in his going to be in his prime very soon, getting more and more comfortable. Great on the mic, one of the best on the mic, probably the best on the mic right now. I'd say probably next to Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Then they have Wardlow, who I would say has more charisma than Goldberg. But what was kind of funny is like with the whole CM Punk returning, he kind of faded away during that time.
Right.
That's like,
yeah, you bring him back.
He had the big feud with the MJF a while ago, and he was hot, and then you just kind of put him on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see more of him getting more mainstream pretty soon.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. That'll play well.
And the other one that I really like is Hook, Taz's son.
Oh.
The cold, handsome devil.
I'm not familiar with him.
So, I mean, he does his dad's moves, Taz Mission, suplexes, and pretty much comes out, doesn't really say much, eats a Dorito chip, does his business, makes the guy tap, and leave.
There you go. All right.
Usually he's on Rampage.
Does he look like his dad?
Not at all.
No, really.
No, his dad is like the short, fat guy kind of
short,
thing.
squatty guy, yeah.
No, he's great shape and another guy that he's the future of the business.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Speaking about future, what about your good friend Jeff Hardy? Any word on him or what's going on there?
No, what I read.
I mean, because
I think when I was reading, it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, for those of you who I mean, he got drunk the night before a big match again and got his 8th DUI or something weird. I don't know. Right?
Supposed to be going to counseling and getting better, and
how'd that work for you?
It never happened.
No, it never did. Yeah, so I was just, that was the big electricity, was the Hardy Boys back together. And well,
speaking of Hardys, I think I saw a picture where it was like, I want to say it was Steve Austin's first match as the ringmaster was against Matt Hardy.
Is that right?
When he was like a jobber.
When he was, that would be funny.
So it's kind of funny when you start watching the old matches, and my favorite thing to do is like look to see who's running to the ring to like stop the fights and stop the brawls. And you're like, oh, that's so and so. Like a lot of times it was Shane McMahon before you knew who Shane was.
Yeah,
and like, oh, that's that guy. It's that guy. It's that. It's just it's funny. It's like, oh, that was Brother Love,
right?
And it's like,
interesting. Yeah, I'm just trying to fling through here. Here's the other thing. I think the AEW stands for is nice mustaches. A lot of guys have mustaches in the AEW. That's it. A lot of mustaches out there.
It's almost November movement.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you digging up over there, Kent?
No, I'm just kind of thumbing through. There's just I watch some AEW, not a lot, but there's a lot on here. I'm like,
so the thing with AEW is they don't do a lot of pay-per-views. Like WWE does a pay-per-view every single month.
Yeah.
AEW, they're kind of doing what WWE originally did. It's like their big four kind of stuff, and half the time it's in Chicago. It's either Chicago or Vegas is what it seems like their two main pay-per-view cities. Occasionally during close to, what is it, the network sweepstakes, they'll do a live kind of not Clash of Champions, but battle all their championships, Battle of the Belts, where all the championships are online on free TV. You're not paying pay-per-view. Most of the matches are pretty good.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view quality matches without the pay-per-view cost.
So what about, so I go back to, I want to go back a ways to the mid to early 80s, where basically every televised wrestling show was a house event.
Right.
It was in a little studio, not even a gymnasium, maybe 50, 60 people, maybe 100, 150 people there on bleachers.
Yep.
Right. And there's a ton of those that are around still, right? I mean, that's what I would love to see more of instead of these grand productions sometimes. So let's just get back
Getting
into
that intimacy of it.
yeah, and not necessarily the out of shape guys at the VFW,
No.
right? But
With sailing's just smaller than this.
yeah, right. That's that. I remember, I remember Georgia wrestling, and that's Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen down there, and you if you got thrown out of the ring, you got thrown up next to a TV camera. You know what I mean? And then they'd move the camera, or hit the guy's head off the camera. That to me, I love that stuff. I would love to see more of that than sometimes these grand productions, because those are the people who are like, I mean, they're in it because they want to get to that next step, and and some of it's really good, and some of it's not so good.
Right.
All in the same breath, right?
I remember like they were saying back in the Attitude Era where like was it Jacked?
Yeah.
And Heat, those kind of shows.
Oh, yeah. But I don't know. I would think that would to me that would just be a riot. Just and there's a ton. I mean, Chicago is like a hotbed for wrestling, right? I mean, where we're at, we're outside of Chicago, but I mean, it's one.
And I think that's what like AEW used to do, especially like, during the COVID era. They just went to Jacksonville and like the training facility and air their matches in front of a few people, and that was fine.
Did you ever watch the Jake the Snake Roberts return or whatever, his documentary?
Oh, Resurrection of Jake the Snake, yeah.
And you go there, and it looks like somebody's like a pole barn with a second floor, so they could get as many people in there as possible. And the wrestlers would come walk through the crowd, and you're like, that's wrestling right there. Yeah, that's crazy wrestling.
Get their $20 for the night, and
yeah, and and then the drunken idiots there would start fighting each other. That's wrestling.
Wrestling.
That's wrestling.
So
that's not entertainment, folks. That's wrestling.
Speaking of entertainment, there was some breaking news right before our show went on.
Is there?
So The Rock's movie Black Adam is coming out. Obviously, we cannot do a show without talking about The Rock.
No, we got to get The Rock in.
So a reporter asked him who is the head of the table. And he says his response was, "You're looking into his eyes right now."
Oh.
So WrestleMania 39.
Hey, I mean, but or is that just Rock's way of saying supporting his good old buddy Triple H?
I mean, it's been in the books for a while, planned before Vince left.
But to be a headliner,
he's always going to be the headliner.
Come in after you've been gone for months.
Done it before. He's the only one that can do it. What's funny is he's only been a full-time wrestler for 6 years.
Is that right?
6 years. That was it.
Wow. Okay.
And it's like Roman's already right around there.
Yeah.
If not past it.
If not past. Yeah. I mean, Cena, 20 years, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
how long was The Undertaker in? Ever. Forever.
Well, WWF was 90 or 91.
Yeah. Jeez. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So when you say who's the head of the table, what's that mean?
So head of the table right now, Roman Reigns is doing his whole persona for the past 750 days or what it was as champion, now a double champion.
Yeah.
And he goes to each city and names a city. He does his Mick Foley cheap pop. So like last night they're in Brooklyn. So he goes, all he says is Brooklyn, waits, acknowledge me.
Right.
So, and then everyone else kind of listens to him. Obviously, yes, they do the finger point up.
Yeah.
For they are the ones, we are the ones.
Yeah.
And his cousins, Jimmy and Jey Uso, are the tag team champs, double tag team champs, got both gold. They're after him. They had a little feud about a year or so ago.
Do they strip them of the belts before they strip Roman?
I would say yes. There's going to be something where Sammy costs them the belt.
Okay.
There's going to be, everyone can see.
Okay.
That's going to happen.
All right. So Rock comes back and he becomes champion? Or does he lose?
I mean, the one rumor mill is they don't even have the belt. He may not even have the belts then.
Really?
It'll just be for head of the table.
But he's part of the bloodline.
Yeah.
Rocky.
Rock is the older of the bloodline, too.
Right.
The older cousin.
So he comes in mad because he lost the belts after all that time? Starts smacking his cousin around?
Maybe he cost the cousin the match in a triple threat ladder match. Both belts on the line.
Both hanging there.
Both hanging there.
And Rock comes in.
I think that's the only way we see
Interesting.
Roman losing the belts without losing the match or being pinned or submitted.
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting thought. And then they battle each other.
Doesn't either Rock comes back Royal Rumble.
Because Rock can't hold the title. Can he?
The Vince McMahon thing would be to give Rock the belt because he's going to promote it at all the movies and premieres.
Sure.
And that's what business was expose the belt, whoever's getting most attention, give them the belt.
Yeah.
So right now that's where you got Bianca. She's going to ESPN College Game Day when Tennessee's playing with the belt.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting, and that's an interesting concept, I think, to be able to do that. However, is that the way to go? I mean, he's a big draw, and he's in incredible shape.
Best shape ever.
Oh, it's silly, right? But being in great shape and being in ring ready shape is different.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the cardio,
difference, right? I mean he's pumping.
We had the issue with the John Cena match where I think he tore his pec during that match.
Yeah,
like 10 minutes in the match, just crap, pop.
And I've never done that.
I pulled stuff before. It is not fun.
I've never tore a pectoral muscle.
No.
I'd have to have them first. It's probably wanted to tear. I don't know.
Oh, what's funny is the former Cubs closer Rod Beck. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I
in the
remember.
late 90s.
Yeah,
with
like a big drunk.
The drunken redneck with the camper right at the end of the park all the time, ready to go. Yeah, the best line I ever heard. You can't pull fat. Why he refused to work out.
You can't. That's right.
You ever hear anyone pulling fat? Nope. You pull muscles. You can't pull fat.
Can't pull fat. A lot of truth to that.
God rest his soul. Who I think he died when he was 48.
Yeah. But the fat can kill you. Can't kill it, but can't pull it,
but it
might kill you. Oh yeah. Oh yes. All right. So we've got when's the next big pay-per-view for WWE?
WWE's next big pay-per-view is Crown Jewel. I believe that's November 4th.
So we get through
November
they
3rd or 4th.
Back Halloween Havoc, don't they?
They do it with NXT, but it's like and I'm seeing like the one rumor is after Crown Jewel, it's Survivor Series, what they'll do with the War Games.
Okay.
Theme. That was a WCW pay-per-view.
Well, is that the right time to do that? Is
Triple H is in charge,
right? So is it? Does he take a book out of Vince's old thing? Because Vince would always play on, on current events. So,
well, Vince stopped doing that for a while because he was getting in trouble.
So do they? Is there a Russian guy that comes in, like the Iron Sheik?
Bring back
when they were the
Miro, Rusev, the Bulgarian brute who started out as Russian,
right?
But no, because I know it's like ever since it was after 9/11. I forgot what the guy's name was Mustafa something, and there was a terrorist incident in London that happened right after they taped their segment because they weren't airing live.
I remember that, as a matter of fact.
And the TV executives, they were
went crazy.
I think it was UPN at the time. They were just pissed off about it, and so ever since then, he's kind of stayed away from that,
slowed that roll,
and get away from the stereotypes because it's not.
but it's Triple H. So you've got Triple H being creative. You got Stephanie, who's probably running the business end of things.
Right. And Nick Khan, not any relation to Tony Khan.
Right. Oh, they're all related. Cons.
They're all cons.
Con
artists.
Con artists. So she's doing that. Any word on Shano Mac? I mean, is he coming back? Has he been ousted forever?
So from what I read, I mean, it's been years where Stephanie and him have had a true sibling rivalry, and he was the prodigal son that returned years ago. She didn't like that.
Yeah.
He had his incident with Vince over at the Royal Rumble earlier this year where Tim was at in St. Louis. And he was trying to book and promote himself more, which then hurt Seth Rollins because that's who he's supposed to do the feud with.
Right.
But he had a falling out. What I find odd, you look at current superstars, I've said numerous times, Mr. McMahon is still on there. Shane McMahon is on there. WWE usually takes off people right away. When they're no longer with the company, they take them off.
Well, so I'm watching this show Legacy. It's about the Buss family and the Lakers, and it's kind of the same way as Jeannie Buss. It was bred, by her dad to take over, to run the show. Her two brothers didn't necessarily like that.
Right.
So there was that feud. Now, they all wanted everybody to win and be successful, but so I'm watching this. So you're saying it's the same thing right now, is that there was a little bit of jealousy. Right. Maybe Stephanie, dad is really breeding her to run the business and keep the business alive and be smart and make those business decisions. And Shane was maybe the on-air personality. So you're saying they didn't necessarily like that.
Right.
There was a little sibling rivalry there, jealousy perhaps.
Right, because everyone thought that it was going to be handed to Shane.
Yeah.
Whenever, and Stephanie worked her ass off.
Yeah.
I will give the devil to do. I mean, she's a very devilish woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, she worked her butt off, earned where she's at. It was kind of funny where she stepped away for a while, and then all of a sudden you had the Vince controversy going on, and she came back, and it just kind of put her back, so she has the power when Vince is gone.
Yeah.
So I still think Vince chimes in here and there, but I could see Triple H going like, "What'd you say? I can't hear you now."
I'm going through a tunnel.
And Vince over there, God damn it!
We'll talk about it at Easter. See you at Thanksgiving.
So speaking of Vince, I don't know if it was JR or Pritchard. They had a funny Vince story going around. So there was I think a SmackDown episode where he was in gorilla position. It's his turn to go on air live.
Yeah.
And he just defecated himself.
What?
He crapped his pants.
Mr.
McMahon. So it didn't have really time to do anything. So he had his jacket, put his jacket around his waist, walked out to the ring, cut his promo. And very few people knew about that. And then afterwards, he found it funny because he's sick and twisted, where he took off his pants, put it on a stick, and started chasing Gerald Briscoe around everywhere.
Sick. Oh, my gosh.
So there is your Vince McMahon story.
There it is. Vince McMahon. Oh, my God. That's twisted.
Yeah,
but funny, but twisted.
And I forget who he said it to, but he said his favorite thing in the world is the look on someone's face right before you push them into a pool.
Yeah.
And he was notorious for inviting people over, and they go by his pool, and he just pushed them in. He just got the biggest kick out of it.
Well, and
it's always funny when it's not you.
Boss, right?
It's always funny when it's not you, too.
That's right. It's your boss. Yep, sounds good. Thanks, boss. Yeah. But that, I mean, you can see that, especially back in the day, in the Attitude Era and whatnot. You can see that. I don't know what you want to call it, fraternity type feel.
Right.
I mean, I was in Cedar
High
Rapids.
testosterone.
I was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I was working out at a gym when I was younger, and this is mid '90s, and this is when WCW was still around, and this is when Raven and Goldberg were arch enemies, if you remember this, right? And I'm working out, and in walks, these guys, and I'm like, holy crap, nicest people in the world, first of all, But then Goldberg starts talking with Raven, and I was like, the fuck are you doing?
You hate each other.
You hate each other. And I had to take a step back, and they probably asked me to leave because I was just staring like in disbelief. Yeah, but it threw me because of how good the production was that Bischoff had, the production and whatnot. And I was just sitting there like, all right, I know it's scripted and all that, but y'all are spotting each other and laughing and hanging out when tonight you're going to be beating each other with chairs or whatever. I'm like, when you come into a town, at least work out a different.
Right. Well, there's some people that they still like to. It's called kayfabe. They want to keep that reality.
Yeah.
There that they hate each other.
Right.
So like some guys, like Jericho's been one of the best at kayfabe, Undertaker too, where they're that character 24/7.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm a bad guy now. I'm not signing autographs. I don't like you. I'm a bad guy. Boo me. Send a picture of me.
Right. That's
tearing apart your shirt. Or
right. Right.
And yeah, it's current times completely changed on that, where especially like where they're doing their WWE network shows of ride along, and then you see like, oh hey, so and so is riding together, and they're pretty much discussing their next match or what they can do, and behind the scenes, which was cool, but then it kind of ruins it. It's opening up your Christmas present before Christmas morning.
So how old were you in your journey of wrestling, even your age, when you realized when they locked up, they were talking to each other about the next set of moves?
So similar to your situation where you're at the locker or the gym, whatever. My brother's college, Dave, at Valparaiso, they'd put on a show like every year. So my dad would get tickets, and we go to it. And like when we first get the card, it's like 6-7 matches, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this night it's going on over and over and over. Like Undertaker came out 3 times and wrestled that night. And it's like they're prepping for the next pay-per-view or whatever.
Wow.
And during that time, it's like when you start like seeing them like between production shows or whatever breaks, like Owen Hart would come out and like grab Jerry Lawler's chair, or Yokozuna would come and do it and razz him. And then they're in the back just like goofing around playing hacky sack. And it's like all of them there. It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, yeah.
And my dad's like, they're all in the same locker room, son. Like,
what?
Like, and that's where like my moment of like, oh wow, this is not real kind of thing. But then start more appreciating the art of it. The soap
opera was broken. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for me, then it's like, okay, then you start, and when you're sitting front row, you could hear stuff or whatever, and it's like, okay, and you see like the misses or whatnot.
Yeah, and that's the that's the beauty of the sport, because every guy's different, right? So we've talked about the Macho Man, how he was a perfectionist,
right? Move by move, detail,
and you sit there and you're like, okay, you're in there with one of the most technical guys, and you've got to remember this, and it's going to be maybe an entire 10-minute time limit. That's a lot of moves in 10 minutes.
Right.
To remember.
Right.
And to be like, oh, what am I, and that, but then you are with people who are like, okay, man, let's just not hurt each other.
Right.
Let's go out there and make sure you don't hurt me. Don't end my career. Right. And let's be good.
That's what Brett said to Goldberg, and we all know what happens there.
Yes. Goldberg won.
But then that's where like Young Rock, the Rock Show, and NBC Peacock, they kind of show too like that element of it now going into his wrestling phase.
Yeah.
of we got like this is what they do. Like, hey, you're going to win tonight, or
Yeah.
oh, you're winning tonight. That's a lot of pressure now because now Vince is going to see like how the crowd reacts to you, and if they don't react good, you're done.
And that's just that's a little anxiety. That's pressure. That's oh man, and I got to make sure if I'm tagged to have my arm held up, I've got to make sure I put on a good show.
And that's what Vince's big thing was, always make sure they go home happy.
Yeah. And 9 times out of 10 they do. I mean, when you're there, it's so electrifying when you're there live.
When you're there live, especially like a return like The Rock or Jericho or someone comes out there, it's like especially unexpected.
Right.
When you hear that music hit.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know?
Dun, 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 dun.
You better call somebody.
AARP for them.
Yeah. Depends. Yeah. Oh, that's Mr. McMahon. Absolutely. So good stuff. So what's so we've got the big AEW tune in, right?
Tomorrow night. Dynamite.
And then of course you'll get your SmackDown, you'll get your typical weekly flavors.
I believe they said Bray Wyatt is supposed to appear on SmackDown. Not just a video, but
right. So is he going to wrestle or is he slow rolling?
So what they're saying now is Fox wants exclusive Bray Wyatt.
Really?
To kind of make up for them not having Roman all the time.
Right. It's not a bad idea.
So they want the ratings. I mean, that's all it comes down to is who you're going to watch.
That's it. Who's tuning in? How many people? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All right, folks, we're right there on the back end of this. This, of course, has been Let Me Tell You Something, Brother, with Tom.
Well, John Cena.
And John Cena, thanks for being here. Can't see him. Microphone was off. I muted it. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. For all of us here at 216 Net, thanks for getting caught in the net. Stick around. More great stuff to come.